The National Drag Racing Championship is apparently one of the longest-running motorsports event in the country. We learned this when we covered the first round of this year's NDRC. We were there to watch the drag racers go one-on-one on the drag strip at the Clark International Speedway. We also got to talk to some of the veterans and relative newbies of the sport. Up next are the highlights. Ever since automobiles were invented, drivers began racing, some on an oval course, others on a street circuit or a dedicated track, or in a straight line from a standing start. The latter becoming known as drag racing, a motorsports discipline that continues to this day. In the Philippines, the National Drag Racing Championship holds yearly two separate drag racing series, the Northern Series at the Clark International Speedway and the Southern Series at the Batangas Racing Circuit. Points earned in both series are then totaled to determine the National Drag Racing Champion as well as champions of separate classes or divisions. Basically, the NDRC competition goes like this. First, drivers go through practice rounds, trying to go fastest over a quarter mile or 403.2 meters from a standing start. Then they go through a qualifying to determine seedings in various divisions or classes. Then finally, there is one-on-one competition, cars starting side by side on a quarter-mile drag strip. Classes or divisions include the Quick 8, where only the 8 quickest drivers during qualifying enter in this class. Then the Super Pro, Pro, Expert, and Hot Street wearing classes are determined by time brackets in which drivers fall during qualifying. The Super Pro being the quickest, Hot Street the slowest. By this time, the 2019 National Drag Racing Championship is deep into the first half of its relatively short season, but race weekend was there at the start in the first month of the year, the first leg of the North Series at the Clark International Speedway, where we got to talk with some of the drivers to get to know how they got into drag racing and why they stick with the sport. Among the drivers we interviewed is Andres Blas of the Black Pit Performance Team. Andres has been drag racing for 12 years and has seen it evolve over the years.
Okay naman, may mga iba mga pagbabago, iba mga bata na, iba mga kasabayan ko andito pa rin.
Blas has seen the rules change over the years.
Yung mga race rules, yan, mas okay. Kasi iba sobrang luwag dati, mga restrictions nila. Pero okay, mas gusto ko.
Andres says that while he has friends in circuit racing, he is sticking with drag racing exclusively.
Looking forward na maging dire-diretso yung puntos namin.
Louis Moya of the Mospit team has been into drag racing longer than Andres Blas. He's been racing for around a decade and a half.
Stress reliever namin yan, more than 15 years na. Marami discipline, pagkakaibigan, all-in-one sport, family sport nga to.
And how does a veteran prepare for a drag racing weekend?
Conditioning, yung makina, tune-up, tsaka dapat nga consistency kasi ang laban So, kailangan may disiplina ka. Una, tumulin, syempre, pumwesto.
Another drag racing veteran is Reggie De Luna of the Good Guys Drag Sporting Team, who makes it a point to find every year since 2012 to compete in at least a couple of rounds of the NDRC.
I used to run every year lang kasi sa abroad ako nagkatrabaho, so yun lang yung chance ko makasali sa race.
Reggie maintains that drag racing is the only motorsport discipline that he actively joins.
Exciting, challenging, looking forward na makakuha ng trophy, manalo.
Every year, drag racing continues to draw more participants. Among them is Froy Mendoza of Ilocos, who joined the sport only this year.
Madami kong kasama, gaganito dati, so...
After his first taste of drag racing, does Froy plan to complete a full season of the competition?
Susubukan ko po, pero okay, so far okay naman.
Harold Canarias has been into active drag racing competition for only 3 years. It's the only motorsport discipline that he takes part in as a competitor. But he has an ulterior motive.
Siguro kasi ito yung business ko. kaya kailangan kong tumakbo.
Aside from the apparent practical reasons for competing in drag races, Harold claims the adrenaline-pumping sport of drag racing helps keep him healthy.
Ayos naman, nakakatanggal ng stress kasi sa gantong bagay, kailangan natin magtanggal ng stress.
After 2 days of head-to-head straight-line racing during the first leg of the 2019 National Drag Racing Championship North Series, June Lapira emerged as champion of the sportsman class. Ronald Samonte ruled the expert class. Alan Araro was champion in the Super Pro class. Arvin Millet topped the Pro class. Iwel Manyo won the Diesel class. And Jonathan Chu was the best driver of the round in the Quick 8 class. The drag racers appear to be a tight-knit group who enjoy racing in a straight line, finding out who has the quickest, most powerful car, the quickest reflexes at the start, and with the best skill to control the sudden burst of speed over a quarter mile or so. We're looking forward to cover more of the rounds of this year's Drag Racing Championship.